What if we told you that the United States we know today was shaped by the events that followed World War II? Picture a nation, its landscape scarred by the ravages of war, its population weary yet hopeful. As the conflict drew to a close, millions of servicemen came home to a country on the cusp of profound change. This wasn't just a shift in demographics, but a societal revolution. America had to adapt quickly to accommodate its returning heroes. And it did, sparking an economic boom that transformed the nation. Consumer spending skyrocketed, and with it, the birth of what we now know as the American dream. This was a time of prosperity, of picket fences and apple pies, of optimism and possibility. But it was also a time of tension and uncertainty. The end of the war didn't mean the end of struggles, but rather the beginning of a new era. As the dust of World War II settled, a new conflict arose, not fought with bullets, but with ideologies. This was the Cold War, a decades-long struggle defined not by direct military confrontation, but by the tussle between two opposing ideologies: capitalism, as championed by the United States, and communism, as embodied by the Soviet Union. The world watched, holding its collective breath, as these two superpowers squared off, each seeking to extend its influence around the globe. The United States, fresh from its victory in World War II, found itself in a precarious position. The Soviet Union, though battered by the war, was rapidly expanding its sphere of influence, spreading the seeds of communism far and wide. In response, the United States embarked on a policy of containment, seeking to halt the spread of communism. This was a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, where every move could potentially tip the balance of power. It was during this time that the term Red Scare was coined, encapsulating the fear and suspicion that gripped American society. Accusations of espionage and subversion were rife, leading to the infamous McCarthy hearings and the blacklisting of suspected communists. Parallel to this was the Korean War, a proxy war fought between the United States and its allies, and North Korea, backed by the Soviet Union and China. This war, while confined to the Korean peninsula, served as a vivid demonstration of the new global order, where conflicts were fought not just with armies, but with ideologies. Meanwhile, in the shadows, a new kind of race was beginning. The arms race, a competition for supremacy in nuclear weaponry, was another facet of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union, aware of the catastrophic potential of nuclear weapons, sought to outdo each other, amassing arsenals that could wipe out humanity several times over. The Cold War era left its mark on American society, creating a climate of fear and suspicion that would take decades to overcome. This was a time of heightened tension and dramatic change, a time when the world teetered on the edge of annihilation. And yet, it was also a time that saw incredible advances in technology and human achievement. While international tensions simmered, a revolution was brewing at home. This revolution, known as the Civil Rights Movement, was a powerful, transformative period in the United States. It was a time when a collective voice echoed around the nation, demanding an end to racial discrimination and segregation. A key catalyst for the Civil Rights Movement was the landmark Supreme Court decision in 1954, Brown v. Board of Education, which declared that segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. This decision was a significant blow to the Jim Crow laws that had enforced racial segregation in the South for decades. The fight for racial equality was a long and arduous one, marked by peaceful protests, sit-ins, and marches. The Montgomery bus boycott, initiated by Rosa Parks' refusal to surrender her seat to a white passenger, was one such pivotal event. This peaceful protest, lasting more than a year, was a testament to the resolve of the African American community. The civil rights movement was also marked by the emergence of influential leaders who championed the cause of equality. Among them was Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist minister who became the movement's most visible spokesperson. His iconic "I Have a Dream" speech during the March on Washington in 1963 remains a powerful symbol of the struggle for racial equality. During this time, significant legislation was passed to protect the rights of all citizens, regardless of their race. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 aimed to overcome legal barriers that prevented African Americans from exercising their right to vote. This era saw a seismic shift in American society, as the fight for equality challenged and changed the status quo. The civil rights movement not only altered the legal landscape but also profoundly changed American culture and consciousness. paving the way for a more inclusive and equitable society. The post-war era was not just about conflict and social change, it was also a time of incredible technological advancement. This time of rapid change saw not only the rise of household appliances that made daily life easier, but also the genesis of a technological marvel that would reshape the world: the computer. From the large, room-sized machines of the 50s to the much smaller and more powerful personal computers of the 70s and 80s, this period was marked by exponential growth in computing power. This technological revolution laid the groundwork for the digital age we live in today. But perhaps the most iconic symbol of this era of innovation was the space race. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union extended beyond the confines of our planet, as both superpowers sought to assert their dominance in space. The ultimate achievement of this competition came in the summer of 1969, when the Apollo 11 mission successfully landed the first humans on the moon. This momentous event, watched by millions around the globe, marked a new era in human exploration and progress. As the astronauts planted the American flag on the lunar surface, they not only signified the United States' victory in the space race, but also the nation's leadership in technological innovation. This period of intense technological competition catapulted the United States to new frontiers, both literally and metaphorically. The post-war era was a time of transformation for the United States. This period witnessed an economic boom, the tension of the Cold War, the powerful strides of the civil rights movement, and leaps in technological advancements. Each of these elements played significant roles in redefining the nation's identity and trajectory. These events, struggles, and victories have shaped the United States into the nation we know today, proving that the echoes of history are ever present in our current reality.